Turn that music down. Can you guys still hear the music okay? Do you want to hear the music? I don't quite know. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're live. Tell me if everything sounds okay. I'm using a whole different setup, so I have no idea. You let me know. We got a handful of people in here already. It's good. Paul is here. I already chat with him a little bit. So tempted since he has the FX2. Yeah, I guess with the FX2 you're kind of limited to no music. Oh, you don't want the music. I don't know. Anyway. Cool, Mr. Camera Junkie's here. I have a question for you, actually, because you mentioned anamorphic D-squeeze stuff. I'm not doing it right now. I just did it like manually, and it's really janky. So like I just like stretched the image. So what is the name of that program that you have, so I can find it and use it? Or is it just like, is it like a plugin? I don't even know. I stopped the music. It says it's on, it's just very quiet. There we go. We'll try that. What's up, bro? I feel like you might have something to do with this. I mean, yes, so part of the reason behind all of this is that I want to do anamorphic live streams, mainly because of something I'm going to talk about later, which is that I have anamorphic lenses and I want to use them, and the amount of uses for anamorphic lenses are relatively limited, so I may as well use them as much as I can. Whatever that name is, hello, how are you? Hope you're doing well. So yes, for those of you who are here, there's a handful here so far. I'm going to take my headphones off because that's really distracting. Alright. I have two cameras going. And again, this is what I mean about my janky setup. Okay, so currently I am on my Fujifilm XM5 with my 20mm Sirui 1.33 times D-squeeze, but because I'm in open gate, I'm getting like a 17:9 image, roughly, which is kind of nice. But this is my Lumix. Oh, I didn't do it right. There we go. This is the Lumix S5 IIX with the Blazar 33mm. Very different look. Very, very different look. So I'm intrigued to see what people think about which one they prefer. Let me just move this a little bit that way. Yeah, two very different looks, two very different cameras, but we're kind of working with like an expensive shot here. So this is, gosh, this is probably about a $3,000 to $3,100 setup at the moment. And then this, dang it, I broke it again. This is like a $1,500 setup at the most. You know, this is half the price, and it is technically anamorphic. So yes, very, very different. I think like every time I look at them, the more I'm like, so hang on, yeah, there we go. They're just so different. I mean, the character difference is crazy between the two. So yeah, I'm intrigued to know what you think. I'm using the same LUT across both of them, so colors are pretty similar. Both of them are filming in their own log. So the Lumix is in the S9. What is that log called? I can't remember. Whatever their logs are, they're both running it. I'm a professional. I know exactly what I'm doing. But yeah. So I'm intrigued to see what people think. I also wore a very like textured shirt to see if that kind of like does something weird. I think that might just be on my live streaming software. It looks weird with the Fujifilm. It's like it's over sharp or something. It's kind of strange. Whereas on this, it's not quite as drastic. But then again, we're also at a different f-stop. So, vlog. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Paul loves the look for sure. Nice. So the thing I like about this setup, so this is a Fujifilm X-M5 with a Sura 20mm f1.8, is it gets me, because it's only 1.33 times D-squeeze, I can film in open gate and D-squeeze to almost 16:9. I think it's basically about 17:9, but it's also full autofocus. So hopefully I have my autofocus set to be super slow. But there you go. So like this one does autofocus, which is nice. Obviously Blazar do have autofocus lenses as well, but they don't have them for the Fujifilm just yet, as far as I'm aware. So yes, two very different looks. But anyway, it gives you a larger than APS-C sized frame, which I think is really interesting. So the 1.33 times D-squeeze on APS-C, when you can film in open gate, gives you a regular image, but slightly larger, which is good. So I don't know how to pronounce that either. Dwaki, glad you're here. Yeah, I've seen you in the comments a bunch. So yeah, I'm glad you're following along. Yes, it is vlog. So I need to remember that. Vlog and F-log. Wow, that's the kind of content I love. Good, I'm glad. I mean, like, this is one of those interesting ones where it's very subjective, and like I could just keep going back and forth between the two, and I probably will, but they're just different. So so yes, very interesting. So again, I'd love to know, there's only a few of you here so far. There's only about 12 people here. So for most of you, which one do you guys prefer? Camera 1 or camera 2? 1 or 2? Very, very different. Granted, very different. But yeah, I have a clear preference. I have a very clear preference that I'm not going to get into just yet, because I'm intrigued to see what you guys think. But yes, they're very different. Obviously, this one doesn't have any manual focus, so I'm not quite in focus. I'm pretty close. It's about there. I think there is about focused. So, but yeah. So I don't know. I'm intrigued. I have a funny feeling people are going to prefer number 2 because it's got a blurrier background. Because that's kind of like all you need to do nowadays to be cinematic, which is ironic because if you go back and you watch old films, they don't have blurry backgrounds, but they're like extra cinematic. So there's something else to it. But yes, so interesting stuff. Very slow. Yes, the autofocus is set super slowly. They both look great, but I like the second look. Yeah, I think most people are gonna prefer this one. Yeah, I got it right. Good. That's good to hear. Yes, if you enjoy it, hit the like button. If not, don't hit any of the buttons. Ooh, okay. We got somebody who prefers camera 1. All right, I would love to hear, why do you prefer camera 1? What is it about? Hang on, I can't. My to go back and forth takes 16 buttons. What is it about this that you prefer? Out of curiosity, is it just the cleanness and sort of more standard kind of look, or is it something else? I am very intrigued. Do let me know. Same with you, Paul. Why number 2? What do you prefer about number 2? And basing it off of just the looks and not knowing anything about the cameras, I personally use the first one. Ooh, interesting. We got a handful of people choosing the first one. Yeah. I do. Yeah, I am intrigued. I'm intrigued. Do tell me your reasons. Camera 2. So yeah, we're about 50-50 split here so far. Do you think ultra clean / sharp lenses are overhyped, priced in general? I personally prefer the one with character. I don't think they're overpriced necessarily. Well, it depends on the lens. Some lenses are overpriced. Like for example, the Sigma Art lenses are probably some of my favorite lenses, and they are the cleanest of clean lenses. They're just like so clean. And I think they're worth every penny. I absolutely love them. And there's a time and a place for character and a time and a place for clean. So yeah, they're just different. But there are certainly many lenses that are overpriced. I personally find like G Master lenses, I don't own any of them. And again, I'm a Sony guy for the most part, but I don't own any G Master lenses because they're just too expensive. Same with the Canon, some of the Canon L lenses, other than like they just brought out that 45mm. Most of them are just crazy expensive. Like $3,000 for a lens. You can get a third-party version that's probably just as good for half the price. I don't really understand G Master. Some people swear by them though, but for me it's just price. That's the only thing. Like the taller version, yeah. So less squeeze, or not less squeeze, less like bars cut across. Okay. One looks more like a movie, two looks like a commercial. Do you mean the other way around? This is one. Sorry, let me know. I would find that very interesting because I think most people would say that the other way around. I think this one looks more like commercial, like more clean, and then the other one, oh no, I did it wrong. There we go. The other one looks more movie, depending on the movies that you're watching, I guess. So this, I'm a big IMAX movie person, so I think that's why I'm drawn to that. Okay, fair enough. The colors are creamier on camera too. Yes, so the colors are definitely very different. Again, the same LUT, but this is Vlog on full frame camera. And gosh, I'm going to try and do that again. And this is Fujifilm, which is F-Log. Very different. I did actually notice as I was doing it, they're very, very different. The black levels look different. Now they're right beside each other, but obviously the framing is going to be a little bit different. I can't, get exactly the same framing, but they are very, they're pretty close. This one, color-wise, I think looks more realistic to what I see in the room, whereas this one is definitely more creative of a look. Just different. Yeah, the black. It's funny. I also think the lighting is just, or the aperture, not the aperture. The lighting settings are slightly different. So this one looks a little darker. We're also getting more of this part of the frame in here, which is all dark. It's all dark over here compared to this one. You're getting less of this part of the room. So this also just looks more contrasty. Just a little different. I don't know. I'm intrigued. Number 2 has more character, not as clean. Colors are a little less pronounced. Yeah, so color-wise, I actually don't know if it is the lens or the camera. I probably should have done it with 2 of the same cameras, but I can't because I don't have the kind of lenses that I would need to be able to do that. But yes, very interesting. Interesting stuff. So, hang on, let me pull this up here. I think I would pick the first one. It just seems to look more natural, and I don't know if it's to do with my screen, but it looks warmer, whereas camera 2 looks really green to me. So this is camera 2. Sorry, my air conditioner just popped on. I don't know if you can hear that. This one might look a bit greener. I don't know if that's the characteristics of the lens. So there's a couple of different things. The lens can add character to the colors as well. You can get quite a different looking color through a lens, but it also could just be the camera because it's a different camera system and a whole different setup. So the amount of color differences in the camera and the lenses are going to make things very, 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 very different. Other than that, the LUT is exactly the same. The LUT has been applied in post across both of them. So definitely prefer camera 2. Okay. Yeah. So personally, I prefer camera 2. I think camera 2 is a bit more interesting. I'm not going to say better or worse. It's not necessarily about better or worse. I just think it's more interesting. Like there's something more, I don't know, there's something more about it, more unique, I guess, compared to this is just a little bit more TV, right? A little bit clean, not bad, just not super exciting. So, so yes, I was really curious, right? Because it's really easy to look at the videos that people make and look at the comments in them, but I haven't really talked about anamorphic lenses at all. So I don't know if my audience are pro character or pro clean, and there's a very polarizing, sides on the internet. I don't know if you know that, but people get a little dramatic about lens character or lack thereof on the internet, and which one people prefer. Some people swear by clean. That's all they want is clean, and other people swear by character. I don't know if I swear by either, but currently in this shot I prefer character. It's pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, which Fujifilm camera and lens are you using on one? I just got an XS20 and the 16-50 to get into video. Yeah, so this is the XM5, which I think that's the same sensor. I think the XM5, is that right? The XM5 and the XS20 I think might have the same sensor. So yes, this is the XM5. It's the much cheaper version. No IBIS, stuff like that, just to make it a lot cheaper. No viewfinder. And it is a Sure 20mm f1.8 anamorphic, which is 1.33 times squeeze crop, like a squeeze factor. So whenever you film in 6K open gate and you de-squeeze it, you're left with a pretty standard 17:9 image, which I think is nice. So how do you find the XS20? So I was very tempted to look at the XS20, but I didn't get one because I was more intrigued about the XM5 when it came out. I have it sort of built into a nice big rig at the moment. So there's video coming out about that in January, a couple of weeks. I think each look is for different things. I feel it really depends on what you're shooting or what/who you're shooting for. Totally. Yeah, so if you're like, so I'm filming a commercial for a medical clinic here in a couple of months. And I think, filming medicine and a medical clinic, you don't want, like, in my humble opinion, I wouldn't shoot like this for that clip. This has like a dirtiness, like a character, like a sort of grungy aspect to it, and I don't think my clients would want me to associate their nice, clean medical clinic with grungy and dirty. Just a guess. So yes, it totally depends on what you're filming. But beyond that, I find it interesting when it comes to filming the same thing. So, sometimes you're filming stuff like this, which, I mean, granted, both of these are total overkill for what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm doing a live stream on the internet to, like, 20 people here. So, like, this is totally overkill. But it's fun. It's fun to think about. So, I didn't hear if you, Mr. Camera Junkie, if you're still here, I don't know if you have Instagram or something, but DM me that program that you have, because that would make life so much easier right now compared to what I'm doing. I would love to check it out. And then Matthew Dangy and I have talked a little bit. We might try some different streaming softwares and check them out and see which one we like the most. That's a pure color psychology here. Yeah, I mean, look, things do matter. I mean, like, if you make something dark, like dimly lit and cool in like color tones, that's going to provide a very different sort of feel to your image than something that's really bright and really warm tones, right? It just presents a completely different. It's the same with background music. Like, I'm not going to, again, think of a medical clinic commercial. I'm not going to add thrash metal in the background. Right? That wouldn't make sense. But we are in Appalachia, so I'm probably going to use like some bluegrassy style music, right? Just because that's what the locals like. So they're more likely to feel at home with that sort of thing. So yeah, it totally depends on what it is that you're doing and stuff like that. But in general, what I'm putting forward here is like, if you're just filming something for yourself, right? If you're just going out and you're making something because you want to film something and make a little short story or just a bunch of B-roll or, a skate video, whatever you want to do, are you choosing sorry, here we go again. Are you choosing character or clean? Which one are you going for? For your own personal use. That's what I want to know. Haven't started using it yet. It is the smaller. Oh, it has the smaller. Sorry, my brain just like broke. It has the smaller 26 megapixel sensor, as apparently it's better for video. I think they both have it, as far as I'm aware, because there's the XE5. So the XE5 is the one that has the 40 something megapixel, but the XM5 has the smaller megapixel. Yes, so smaller megapixels typically is better for video. Not always. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but typically, yeah, it can make low light a bit easier. That's why like the FX3 and stuff went with 12 megapixels. But if you want 6K, you gotta be in the 20s, as far as I'm aware. Got you on Instagram. Sweet. I will check that out. Thank you so much. I will need to make a note of that and go do that. But yes. All right. So, I wish I could do polls. That's another thing I need to put in my like live streaming software bucket list, is the poll system. I don't think I can do it just through OBS. I don't think so. Oh, I can. Oh, I can. What? Here we go. Oh wait, hang on. This isn't right. How do I do this? It says... Oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm doing this with my left hand and trying to talk at the same time because it's a live stream and people like it when you keep talking. So let me get a poll here ready. Which do you prefer? Clean or character? I can't even see if that is spelled correctly, but we're gonna go ahead. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Start poll. Did it work? We have a poll. All right, learning things as we go. It's a disaster. Sorry, guys. I do apologize. I don't really shoot video. I tend to do photo, and honestly, I would use the character over a clean sort of look. Ah, interesting. That's interesting, because I almost would have assumed that more people would have gone towards clean for photo. That's something that I want to do more of, right? So something I would love to see cameras do. So like Lumix, if they could do this, would be fantastic. So let me switch over to the Lumix while I talk about this. If we could get like the D-squeeze in camera is great. Like having D-squeeze in camera is fantastic, especially for video. But if we could get that for photos as well, where it would bake it into the photos, that would be awesome. Maybe they already do that and I don't know. But I would love to do some anamorphic photography, because I really like that kind of letterbox crop, the sort of extra wide for photography. And I find I crop my photos like that. But instead of cropping it, it'd be really nice to be able to just do it in camera and then not have to like pull it into Photoshop, because usually I edit in Lightroom and Lightroom doesn't have a way to de-squeeze a photo. So then I have to pull into Photoshop, and I don't want to have to keep paying for Photoshop when I don't want to. So yeah, I'm intrigued. That would be, I feel like that would be a cool thing, is anamorphic photography to be put into a camera. What do you guys think? Is that something that people would actually use? Maybe not, you know, some people probably wouldn't actually use it, but yeah. All right. A character looks like something premium. Ah, interesting. Why? So out of curiosity, why does it look premium? I mean, I agree with you, and I don't know if I could put it into words, but what is it about the character that actually makes it look premium? Because I think there's something psychologically that whenever we see the black bars on the top and the bottom, like more black bars than you know, a regular 16:9 image or 17:9 image, we associate that with like cinema, right? Because that's what has been in the cinema for a long time. So yeah, I don't know, I'm intrigued. Let me switch back and then we can go back to talking about clean. Here we go. Character sweep. There are 9 votes so far. Oh my goodness, it's 100% towards character. I didn't spell it right. Did I say Charster? Chasrichter. Yep, I'm a genius. I know what I'm doing. Can I edit it? I probably can't edit it. Oh well, that's fine. Anamorphic photography is dope. Yeah, so I've done a couple of things, mainly with this Fujifilm, not with the Fujifilm, with the Sura 20mm. So I had the 20mm for the Sony camera, and now I have it on Fuji as well. Because I think it is a fun little lens. I actually really do like the look and the feel of the lens, and I think it's a better fit on an open gate camera because it gives you a larger than APS-C frame by the time you de-squeeze it, compared to Sony equivalent, which I think is quite nice. It looks more like film. Yep, I think there's a lot of that. Yeah, I think people associate, I mean, mainly because that's what they used, I guess. There's a nostalgia sort of connected to how people used to film. And that's the thing that's kind of nice about like one of the things I really like about these Blazars is like you have the character and the stretch of what people are used to seeing in film, but you also get like way blurrier of a background than we ever used to have in film, right? Back in the day, and actually in most films, most people were filming in f4 to f8 or something equivalent, or on much smaller sensors, but now we can kind of blend the modern super blurry background with anamorphic, and obviously you got the flares. Let me see if I can just do that. So you get some nice flares. So yeah, I don't know, it's kind of cool. The flares are something, honestly, I can take or leave. It's the out of focus sort of character that I prefer more than the flares, which I understand that most people are like into anamorphic for the flares, but for me it's actually a lot of the other stuff that I like. I use clean for my I use clean for my like college work or client shoots, but for personal I choose character, and I don't know if you can do anamorphic in camera, but I 100% agree it would be useful and cool. Yeah, there we go. Lumix, there's your next update, is baked in D-squeeze. Like bake in the D-squeeze into the footage. I'm sure nothing's going to overheat or cause any problems. It looks more cinematic in the tones and the defocused background as well. Oh, sorry, my mouse is hovering over that. As well as the borders, of course. Yeah, I think the tones make a big deal. Again, I don't know if that's the lens or if that's the camera. It's probably both that make the tones and the sort of the character, the contrast levels, all that kind of stuff. It's probably a mixture of the two compared to the other one, which, you know, is just sort of more regular. Skin tones especially. I think the skin tones on the Fujifilm and maybe this lens, again, it could be either, are coming out a lot more pink, which is probably more accurate because I am Irish, so pink is the color of my skin. I do not tan, I just burn. So this is probably more accurate and more realistic, but the other one looks better. So, in my opinion, and, you know, other people might agree or disagree, but that's the beauty of photography and camera gear, is you can disagree and you can just buy one or the other, and then, you know, no skin off anybody's back. You just use whatever you want. So if you prefer the look of the sort of larger, harsher stretch of the anamorphic, then great. If you prefer the more natural, clean look that the Surays tend to offer, then great. You got options available to you. So that's always really nice. The thing that impresses me about the Blazars is the used market is actually pretty good, right? So I bought the 33mm. I think I paid full price for it, which kind of hurt. But I got a 65mm for, oh, there's no autofocus. I got the 65mm for like way cheaper. So on the used market. So that was quite nice. I know they're coming out with new lenses. I don't know if anybody's really looked into the Talons yet. Is it the Talon? I can't remember exactly what it's called. But the new autofocus 1.5x's, I would love to get my hands on those. But, and this is maybe something we could talk about for a little while, but I have promised to spend less money on camera gear in 2026. I need to spend less and just work with what I have and make more videos about what I have, right? Not having to rely on just talking about new gear. That's kind of like a goal of mine for 2026. And when it comes to the channel, is just to continue talking about stuff that we have, because there's like so much stuff. Like there's like 15 lenses over there that I don't use as much as I should, but I can if I start making more videos about the stuff that I already have rather than just buying new stuff. So, excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip. Let's launch it. All right. I also wanted to put in the title a camera Q&A, because if you guys have any questions or any sort of camera stuff, it is the end of the year. I know people tend to try to make sort of pretty big purchases at the end of the year. So if you aren't aware, obviously, depending on where you are in the world, whenever you spend money on a business purchase, you can write that off in your taxes. So at the end of the year, I know a lot of people like to try and spend their money and get something that they can write off in their taxes if they need to, whether it's like a big purchase, small purchase, stuff like that. So what are people buying? Are people buying anything? This is ironic because I literally just said about how I'm trying to buy less, but here we are. What kind of stuff are people looking for? Mine was my Lumix S5 2X. I've got a lot of videos I want to make about that, the S9, and I'm going to see if I can get my hands on the S1 2E, because those are like 3 cameras at 3 different price points that all share the same sensor and are all very different. So that's kind of like one of my long-term sort of investment things at the end of this year. But again, I spent plenty this year. I've promised to spend more than I did in 2025. Nice. Yeah, Wednesday is my last day in my normal job, so we're about to like lose a significant chunk of our monthly income. So I have to spend a lot less. So, but that's fun. The shot is so cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's fun. I mean, like everybody was doing it a long time ago, like the Anamorphic live streams, and I know it's kind of slowed down, but I think it's pretty cool. I still quite like it, and also I haven't really had good Anamorphic lenses to do it with until recently. So, my stepdad was from Belfast. Does me good to hear your accent. Good. I'm glad I haven't lost it yet. And I have lost it a little bit. I've been living in America for too long. I've been here for 7.5 years. And it's my job to do public speaking. So I have to I'm in like the middle of the Appalachian Mountains. So, you know, there's a lot of sort of very Southern Americans here. And I have to change how I speak a lot so that people can understand me. So I'm glad it isn't fully gone. Yeah, I live just south of Belfast. So about 20 miles south of Belfast. 2026 goal is to get one good street photography lens, working with my kit lens at the moment. Cool. What are you thinking of going for? Because I'm hoping to do more street photography this year as well. I'm going to New York, hopefully in April, and Vegas in April for NAB. And I'd like to do more street photography. And the nice thing about street photography, I guess, is you don't need a super shallow depth of field. Most times, I think in street photography, people tend to take photos at f4 or less. So yeah, I'd be intrigued to see what lens you're getting, because I also know nothing about street photography and I don't know what I would take with me. I'd be tempted to use my S9, and I have a 35mm 1.4 manual lens, but it's really small. That's what I like about it. Or maybe my Fujifilm X-M5. So I got my Tamron 17-70 this week, Christmas present to myself. Now I'm considering filters because I want to protect the lens, but I'm undecided whether to go with UV or combo for CPL, ND, and black mist. So UV doesn't do anything anymore, in my opinion. Some people might disagree with this. UV doesn't actually matter for nowadays. I mean, it does technically protect the front of your lens, but I certainly wouldn't spend large amounts of money on a UV. But then if you spend very little on a UV, you're actually degrading the quality of your image, which you might want to do. So I don't know. My vote would be, if you're getting filters, I would go with your second option. They're going to be more useful. But in saying that, my 17-70 I did drop and I broke the whole front of the lens. But I glued it back together. It still works. I'm just starting out, but I've heard that a 25mm f1.7 is a good start. Yeah, if you're on APS-C, that's basically a 35mm as well. I mean, it's a little bit, it's like a 37.5, but yeah. Is it the Viltrox Air? I think the Viltrox make those. Oh, something went wrong on my phone. What do I do? Oh no, that's embarrassing. There's my sample thing that pops up. What happened? Oh, I refreshed my whole page. No. Hang on, I gotta catch up with chat again. I pressed the wrong button. There we go. Yeah, so I talked about that. Just starting around 25, yes. So, what versatile lens should I get for travel? I'm one of those weird ones where, like, for travel, I do one of two things. I will either take 3 really small primes with me, or just one zoom. Right, so the 17-70 is kind of like my go-to zoom for my Sony cameras. But depending on what camera you're on, the Sigma 18 to 50, that seems like a super popular camera. Popular lens, sorry. Seems like a super popular lens. But if you want primes and you're looking on a budget, the Viltrox Air lenses are fantastic. They're really cheap and they're really small, so you can pack them into your bag really, really well. For my street photography, I shoot film, and 28, 35, and 50 are the best. Okay. So yeah, I guess if you wanted to do one lens, whoever was asking that earlier, sorry, I keep looking into the wrong camera. Whoever was asking that earlier, that was Ethan. You could get a lens that hits all of those. So like, again, the Sigma 18 to 50, I think is a very popular lens choice. So Viltrox does, and that's what I'm going for. Stay in budget. Yes, so that's the nice thing about the Viltrox lenses, is they're very affordable, they're very cheap, but they are very good. So I've had a couple of them. The only one I have at the moment is the 15mm, but I really like it. So I'm gonna swap back to my other camera. We're going back to the clean anamorphic. I say clean. Look at this. What is this going on here? Why am I getting all this noise? I think it's my LUT that I'm using. It's kind of happening here too. Interesting. Anyway, sorry, distracted. I used UV to protect the lens, but started using hoods instead. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That way I'm always ready to shoot. Yeah. Yeah, lens hoods are good for that, and also they cut out the flares if you don't want the flares. So the best protection for your lens is to just be careful. I know that sounds kind of silly to say, but just be careful. Get a wrist strap. That's down to, like, I almost exclusively carry my camera on a lens strap. Just a little wrist strap. I don't like a lens strap, or I keep saying lens. I don't like carrying cameras with a neck strap. But I really like a wrist strap, and then just be careful. I see people breaking stuff all the time. I broke that one lens. That was the only thing that I've broken in maybe 10 years. And I did the stupidest thing ever, which is I set it sideways on a table, and it just rolled off when I wasn't looking. And that was just dumb. That was just me being really stupid. But yeah, I'm too clumsy. Careful doesn't factor in. It's fair. Yeah. We can all be that way, and I think, like, especially when you have just a bunch of stuff, like the table over there at the moment is like covered in camera gear, just like covered, because I'm working on a few different cinema rigs at the moment. Actually, both of which I'm using right now. But so yes, whenever it gets really like cluttered and you got a lot of stuff, it can be easy to drop stuff for sure. But I've never broken anything hiking or, you know, out in the elements, so, which a lot of people seem to do. But just do your best to be careful. That definitely does make a big difference. So yes. What was the other thing I was going to say? It's gone. I don't know. Anyway, everybody have a good Christmas. Sorry, side note. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. Lens hoods have saved my bacon plenty of times. Here's my problem with lens hoods, is I lose them, because they're one of the first things that I take off. Because for video I don't tend to use them, because I like using circular filters. So the first thing I tend to buy is like a step-up ring on all of my lenses. So I stick a step-up ring on there, and then whenever I go out and do photography, I don't have my lens hood and I can't find it anywhere. I've set it down on a couch at a friend's house or something. Like, it's gone. So I do tend to lose those pretty frequently. But I don't know. Do people tend to break things? Like, is it just me? Like, do people tend to break things a lot? Maybe I just don't use my gear enough. That is very, very possible. I'm gonna switch back. We're going Lumix. Switching back. I broke a gimbal hiking. How'd you manage that? Drop it? I guess dropping it would definitely do it. Since I really spend this kind of money on anything, I'm currently treating this lens like glass. Yeah. Hopefully I don't get careless. That is true. I mean, yes, camera gear is very expensive. I have a video coming out in the next couple of weeks talking about like when you're buying your first camera. And one thing that people don't tend to talk about very much is like, look, you know, I think on YouTube we do a pretty bad job sometimes where we're like, hey, you're buying your first camera, get this, and it's like a $4,000 camera, and you're like, no. Like, I will not spend $4,000 on a camera, and I don't think most people should spend $4,000 on their first camera. You can get great cameras for under $1,000 bucks. Like again, the Fujifilm X-M5 is a phenomenal camera, and it's $800, depending on where you are in the world. But yeah, I've got a video coming out. I would be intrigued to hear your guys' thoughts on it, but just like warnings or like heads up or advice for people who are buying their first cameras. So like for me, one of the main things is your camera is only as good as the lens you put in front of it. Which most people tend to spend 90% of their budget on their camera, and then they've got 10% of their budget left, and they want to get a lens, they want to get lights, and they want to get mics and all the stuff. And you can't, like, you just can't get good enough stuff for that. So I just kind of want to make a video of like, don't spend that. I mean, it's kind of like building a PC. So I've got a custom built PC over there, and I see a lot of people do this in the PC world as well. It's like having a $200 PC with an RTX 5090 in it. You know, for those of you who know PCs, it's like that would be silly because it's just bottlenecked. Like it can't perform very well. That's like having a really expensive camera with really crappy lenses, in my opinion. It's just kind of a dumb thing to do. Aftermarket can be reversed and out of the way. Oh, that's true. You know what would be interesting is getting like an 82, if there would be like a generic 82mm lens hood that you could attach to your step-up ring. Obviously the problem is each focal length are going to require different lens hoods, but that would be an interesting thing to do, is like have lens hoods, like third-party lens hoods that attach to a step-up ring of your choosing. I don't know if that's actually possible. I mean, like it would be complicated, but I smashed it against rocks when I fell off a small waterfall. Smacked it up. That's like the most nonchalant, like, I just fell off a small waterfall. That's crazy. Fair enough. If any of you are into like hiking or camping, outdoor stuff, there's a guy from back home in Northern Ireland, and he makes videos called Stephen J. Reed, and he makes some of the best content on camping and wildlife stuff, or does like outdoors stuff, and he's actually a really good videographer as well. I'd love to collab with him whenever I go back home, but we'll see. I lock in with my camera stuff. One of the most expensive pieces. I'd pass away if I dropped it. Yeah, I mean, that's probably where I'm at as well. Like, and it's funny how we, like, when you assign value to something, like in your mind, you are just more careful with it. Like my Fujifilm X-M5 compared to my other cameras is kind of like a toy, price-wise. And I know that's ridiculous to say because it's still $800, but it is my sort of like, if I'm doing something risky, then I'll take my Fujifilm X-M5, because if it breaks, it's not the end of the world, because I've got other cameras that can outperform it. But yeah, if you've only got one camera and you just dropped a huge amount of money on it, yeah, you're gonna be. I keep looking in the wrong. I'm sorry. Let me switch back. Keep looking at the wrong camera. There we go. Yeah, if you only have the one camera and you've poured all your money into it, yeah, you're gonna need to be really careful. I also suggest buying used if you're just starting out, less upfront cost. Absolutely. Gosh, the amount of money you can save used. Like I see people doing this all the time, where they buy really old cameras, brand new, when you could save double the money. Like this, the S5 Mark II is like $2,000, but I got it for $1,450, like under $1,500. A full frame 6K open gate anamorphic compatible camera with full size HDMI. Like you can record to SSDs, you can record ProRes externally, like all of that for under $1,500 just because shopping on the used market. Yeah, you can. That's a good one. I might write that down. I'll tribute you, but yeah, for sure. Airbags for cameras. Yeah, I love those videos of people testing out the airbag jackets because yeah, they're like a disaster. But that would be funny. I never had the opportunity to buy a really expensive camera, but one thing I have loved about having cheaper or more replaceable gear is how relaxed shooting can be opposed to it. Yeah, so that's really true. Whenever I rented the Nikon ZR, I was definitely way more careful with it because it was a rental, and even down to little things, like I didn't play around with the settings as much as I should have. I know that seems ridiculous to say, but I just didn't, because it was like, oh, that's not my camera, I don't want to mess anything up, which would be very difficult to do, to be fair, with settings. But yeah, like it's easy to do, to like sort of lock yourself in and be way too cautious with gear, especially if it's not yours. I have the Sony APS-C kit lens and zoom. I don't think I could resell them for anything due to the scratches of the bodies from being banged together. Yeah. Yeah, the kit lenses aren't worth all that much. I mean, it really depends. There's no harm in putting it up and trying to get money for them, and then just keep using them until somebody buys it. If somebody buys it. So, like, if you're looking at getting better lenses and the thing that's standing in your way is money, and you want to sell those, throw them on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and see if anybody bites. If nobody bites, you can just keep using it. But if they do bite, then you got some more budget, which is always quite nice. I just got my hands on the ZR yesterday. Ah, that's fun. I really enjoyed it. Like, I was very sad to send it back and not buy it, but it wasn't the camera for me. But it is a lot of fun. So testing it out, I'll have to keep it in my mouse over here. Yeah, I'll check. If you're making any videos about it, I'll check it out, because I only had it for a week, and I did make a couple of mistakes with it. Like, I messed up my what's it called? I messed up my stabilization settings in the videos. So whenever I was watching the footage back, I was like, stabilization looks terrible on this camera. Like, it seems really bad. But I just messed up because I use manual lenses, and you have to like dive into the menus and set it up manually and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of normal, and I should have thought about it, but I just didn't, and it's easy to make those kind of mistakes. So any good lens recommendations for a beginner with Lumix S5 II user? Just bought it for Christmas. Nice. It depends what you're doing. The best budget lenses, in my opinion, for the L mount are probably the TT Artisans lenses. Either their primes, well, any of the primes. They got the 40mm f2, the 75mm f2. Both of those are like under $200. And then they have a 24 1.8, 35 1.8, and a 50 1.8. Those all look really good as well. I have the 24. Whoa, my mic just peaked. Sorry. I have the 24mm and the 50mm 1.8s, and they're great. They're really good little lenses, especially for the money. And honestly, 1.8, like the difference between 1.8 and 1.4, most people cannot tell the difference. In my opinion, it's really not that drastic of a difference. So that would be my suggestion. Let's go back to this because we can. What time is it? I'm gonna have to go here in about 10 minutes, I think. But yes. Sorry, well, there we go. My setup's all kind of different today, so nothing's working quite the way that I think it is. So I have to keep double checking everything. What do people think? Not necessarily to do with the anamorphic, but image/colors and audio. Does everything seem synced up okay? Because I was having problems in the past with the same setup where the audio wasn't lining up with my mouth. So I think I've fixed that, but I'm not 100% sure. And is the music too loud, too quiet, all that kind of stuff? Do let me know, because I'm trying to dial these in, because as of January I'm going to do weekly live streams and try to make a bit of a habit out of it, and then answering your guys' questions. So that is the plan, and we're going to have some guests. It's going to be the plan as well. I'm going to MPB, my T6i and kit for credit. Oh, okay. On a Fujifilm X-T30, just for giggles. Interesting. That'll be fun. The X-T30 seems great. Are you just getting the Mark 1? I think there's multiple X-T30s at this point, right? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not super familiar with the Fujifilm cameras. The XM5 is my first one, and I haven't used it enough. It's, you know, I've got too many cameras and I'm trying to make too many videos about them. So yeah, just trying to. I need to use it more because I don't use it enough. But yes. Let me see here. I also, this is kind of off topic. I have a video idea that I might make tomorrow, and I'm intrigued to see if you think it would be something that would be interesting, or to put it into a live stream. But I'll ask you about that in a second. I'm gonna get caught up with these. It looks good to me. Audio visuals are good. That's good to hear. Any good beginner mics too for video? Going to Japan for a documentary shoot. Oh, that'd be fun. In a few months, so really trying to get good gear and learning settings. Yeah, there's loads of good mics. My favorite is the Rode Video Mic NTG. I don't know where it is. It's over there. I mean, it's like a $200 mic. But if you're doing documentary style stuff and you're miking up, it depends what you're wanting to do. If you're catching like ambient audio, then just a shotgun mic. Most shotgun mics will be totally fine. If you're wanting to mic up people, my favorite are any of the Hollyland wireless ones. So the Lark Max 2s, which are again about $200, are my favorite wireless mics by far. 32-bit float, internal recording, really good lav mics. I really do like the lav mics, and they just work really well in my opinion. But I mean, you could do the same thing with any of those sort of wireless microphones. Most of them are very similar. I find the Hollylands are my favorite audio-wise, like the actual sound of the capsules on the mics are my favorite. But I think DJI is known for having the best range if you're not recording into the mic itself. Yeah, the Mark 1, I'm trying to branch out of Canon. I never Canon is the one camera brand that just I don't care about. Sorry for any Canon users in here. I do apologize. I've never taken much interest into Canon cameras. So the R50V was kind of tempting, just to sort of talk about like a good beginner camera in that way. But I don't know. I just never really cared. So that's just me personally. I think everybody has like one or two camera brands that they're just like, meh. Like, I don't care. And Canon was always kind of that for me personally. So everything's sounding good. That is good. All right. Here's a question. I might be able to set this up. Hang on. I have this video idea, right? I kind of said at the start of the year that photography, or 2025 was going to be like my year for photography. And I never, like I did some photography, but I didn't do a huge amount. I didn't do enough, is what I'll say. So what I want to do, just to challenge myself for next year, is I'm really tempted to like make a video like tomorrow and make some prints of my favorite photos that I took in 2025. So kind of like an end of year recap thing. I've got a video coming out on Wednesday, and that is like my favorite camera gear of 2025. But I thought I'd do one as well of like my favorite photos that I took of 2025 and sort of talk about why I really like them, why they stand out to me in particular, and that sort of thing. So I can actually show you them here just as a thought experiment. Let me switch back to the other camera here. I think it's this one is set up to do it. Oh no, it's not this one. It's that one. All right. I need to just add a screen. Look at me doing this live, like a terrible streamer, not having anything ready. All right. What is going on? Why is this so large? That's not even right. Is that? That's not correct. I do have an ultra wide monitor, so that's probably why that's looking like that. Let me see. I have no idea if this is gonna work, but it's pretty quiet, so I figured I would just give this a go, see what happens. All right, let me see. Did that work? Can you guys see that? I can't see if you can see that. Why is that not working? Why can you not see any photos? I'm a professional. What am I doing wrong? Let me just put up the whole display. And then, oh no, this is just a disaster, guys. I'm a failure at this. Everybody's leaving the chat, I can tell. What am I doing? I need to switch out of OBS. OBS is a nuisance. Application? No, that's audio. Alright, I can't show you. It's fine. It is probably not gonna happen. So, yeah, no, not gonna happen. That's fine though. We'll go back to what I was originally doing. That is not the right one. All right. Ignore me being a disaster of trying to organize any of this stuff. What have I done? All right, we're here. I'm back. I'm so sorry. This was a disaster. Canon is a great place to start. Easy to use, but as I grew creatively, I need something else. That's fair enough. Yeah, that's a good place. That's a good place to recognize and kind of see is like, oh yeah, this isn't doing what I wanted to do. I want to change something else up. I dropped my Holy Lark to magnetic mic down a mountain during a hike. It bounced enough. Luckily, I found it. That's crazy. Yeah. Kind of a random question, but what is the appeal to Lumix or Fujifilm, as I've never used them and I don't really understand what sets them apart from, say, Sony or Canon. So Fujifilm for me, let me switch over to the Fujifilm. So Fujifilm for me, it's the price. Specifically about this one camera. This is the XM5 and it is really cheap, like $800, and for video you're getting 6K open gate, a good log profile. You're getting all your film simulations if you want them. Like, it has a lot. Like, it offers so much for the price, and it's got a mechanical shutter for photography. A lot of the cheap cameras, like from other brands, they don't have mechanical shutters, and I really like having a mechanical shutter compared to not having it. So that was for me, that's what Fujifilm drew me towards. I think there's like a feel and a vibe with Fujifilm. That's what most people seem to be there for, is like a vibe. And that's fine. I think that's great. If that's what you like. Lumix, on the other hand, we'll go over to Lumix. Lumix, again, is just the quality for the price. Like, again, this camera I got for less than an A6700. Like a Sony A6700, which is APS-C, which isn't bad. Like, I've made so many videos saying that APS-C is great. So that's not, I'm not saying it's bad. But APS-C versus full frame, 4K versus 6K, open gate versus no open gate, viewfinder versus, like, good viewfinder versus no viewfinder, dual card slots, one card slot. Like, there's, sorry, my wife is yelling at her dog. Like, there's a lot that they offer for the money. And, in my opinion, the image is really nice. Like, Lumix's H.265 image is really, really clean. Like, it's really, really, really nice. Compared to, it's not to say that it's better, it's just different. The colors turn out really nice. I don't know. I've really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people say that, well, L-mount doesn't have enough lenses. I don't think that's true anymore. I went on to B&H and I searched L-mount lenses and there were over 900 options. So if you can't find a lens when there's 900 options, I don't know what to tell you. Do you know what I mean? Now, to be fair, Sony has over 2,000 lenses, but that's too many. You know, most people don't have more than 5 lenses. Most people don't have more than 3. So I think they have more than enough lenses. You got this. I didn't have it. It was a disaster. I didn't have anything. I'm a professional. That is, yeah. That's what I have to tell myself just to get by. Yeah, disaster. It would be a great video. Okay. Yeah, I might do it just to kind of fill the space. It'd be an easy video to make. So just get some printouts and make a nice little thing about my favorite photos. And especially seeing I wasn't able to do it here because I'm terrible at live streaming. Then yeah, I think it could be fun. Let's go back to Fuji. There we go. Sky, how's it going? The poll is for which camera you prefer. This, what you were just watching there for a while, was my Lumix with Blazar lens, which is very characterful. This is a Fujifilm with a Sure lens, which is very clean. So both anamorphics. What do people tend to prefer, clean or character? Sort of dirty, grungy, lots of weirdness, or clean and more normal? What do you think? I think all brands have a vibe. That's true. Canon is very straightforward and basic. Fuji can have a retro vibe, and Lumix is great for video if you have the right lens. Yeah. So I guess they do all have like their own. Like every brand has its own strength, and every brand has a weakness. Like for Fuji, in my opinion, it's autofocus. That's like their biggest weakness for me. But I still really enjoy using it, and their low light isn't all that great. Not on this camera anyway. But in saying that, they're really fun to use. Yeah, every camera has its weakness. Like at the moment, Sony's weakness is their price. Like their pricing is out of control. You know, you can get cameras that offer the same amount, if not more, for half the price from other brands. That doesn't mean that Sony cameras aren't good. Sony cameras are very good. They're just expensive. So, you know, it just depends on what you need, what you want, and kind of how you enjoy using your camera. It depends if you're a professional or a hobbyist. Depends if you're, you know, depends on lots of things. Like if you're a sports photographer, you're going to be looking at different cameras than a vlogger. Or if you're a wedding videographer, you're going to be looking at some different gear than if you were making commercials, right? They just have, different cameras have different functions, you know, run and gun versus like scripted studio work versus sort of live work. Like there's lots of differences. So it really just comes down to what you do. Is the style of camera body important to you? I don't know if it's important, but it's certainly a bonus. Like I just got the S5 IIX. It's a boring camera to hold. It's very comfortable and it works very well. But it's kind of boring. You know, it's just a normal mirrorless style camera. Whereas like the Fujifilm, my Nikon ZF, even the Lumix S9, like they're kind of fun, right? They're kind of vintagey, retro. Yeah, they're fun. If I'm just going out to take photos, I'm grabbing those cameras. If I'm wanting to do something professional, I'm taking the S5 IIX. Just depends. But I think for hobbyists, it matters a lot more than professionals. Because a hobbyist is only going out whenever they want to. And having a camera that's cool makes you want to. I don't know if that makes sense. But that's kind of where I'm at. Canon Cripple Hammer. Yeah, that is for sure their weakness. They've gotten a lot better at it. I think they gave it to Sony. So yeah. All right, we're gonna finish up here in a few minutes. It's been a quiet stream today, but that's fine. Hope everyone's been doing really well. I know it's coming up into the new year, and people are probably just like, yeah, it's just quiet. So, you have to start with. I keep putting the mics in here. You have to start with what you're going to photo for sure. I do a lot of portraits, so Canon and the 85mm. Moving to streets, so Fuji. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, like a Canon lens with an 85mm prime would take incredible portraits. Like, could you do that same camera for street photography? Yeah, of course you could. But if you don't have to, and you don't want to, you don't have to. So that's just kind of the joy. And especially nowadays with the tariffs, like if you bought a camera 5 years ago, especially Sony and probably Canon as well, because of the tariffs and the used market, you can almost sell your camera for as much as you bought it for. Like, I just sold my A6700 for $100 less than I bought it for 4 years ago. Like, that's crazy. Like, most cameras, they lose their value way faster than that. But I mean, I bought it for $1,300 and I think I sold it for $1,200, which was a great deal for me. Like, I was pretty happy with that. So, enjoying your content inspires me to create more. Good. I'm glad. That's what I want to do. Like, all my music stopped. That's fine. There's a lot of people out there that make videos about like how to take better photos, or like who are more professional. I just want to, like, I really want to lean into just making it fun again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want photography and videography and cameras to become boring and like all about professional work. That's not to say that there's not a place for that. There is absolutely a place for that. But I feel like there are less and less hobbyist photographers and videographers on this platform. I think especially in video, there's a lot of really good photographer channels that are about hobbyists, but video not so much. Video, it's almost entirely professional, for the most part anyway. That's what it feels like, and that's really helpful, because like, if you're spending $5,000 on camera equipment, like a handful of lenses, maybe a camera body or two, you're going to want to make money with that camera to justify the expense. So it makes sense to like have a lot of people out there who are helping you grow in your business side of things. But like, I don't know, it should be fun. I think it should be fun. I mean, that's just my take, but it's also because I don't do it professionally. I occasionally do professional work. We're going to switch. Oh no, there we go. I occasionally do professional work to help pay the bills, but that's not really what I want the channel to be about. I kind of want to lean more into the fun, the more inspiration of just like, hey, you know what, just take your camera, go out and shoot, and here's like a couple of ideas, or here's why I do it, and I hope that it's helpful. I want to do more of that stuff, especially in 2026. I've got a lot of travel planned in 2026, and just fun stuff. Like, I'm buying another motorcycle, and I'm gonna, rip it apart into a bobber, just because, and then I can film it and make some fun stuff about like ripping a motorcycle apart, because I have the cameras and I may as well use it. So, and I think that's my favorite thing about YouTube, is it gives you a platform. It gives hobbyists a platform to post their stuff, which I think is great. It should be fun and exciting, absolutely. I always buy used gear. I never understand getting new gear. It's like cars. Oh, absolutely. Whenever I first moved to America, this is, almost 8 years ago, I just got married, and I went and bought a car. Now, used cars in America are so expensive compared to the UK and Ireland. So, like, I spent $5,000 on a used car, which isn't very much here in America. Back home, that's a lot of money. Here, it doesn't get you a whole lot. And I remember calling my dad and saying, hey, I just bought a new car, and told him about it. And he was very proud of me as a son that I said that an 8-year-old car that had like over 100,000 miles on it, I considered new. I was like, well, it's new to me, so I consider it new. Anyway, not important. I think maybe the APS-C Sony range is not beautiful, almost new style. That's kind of true. Other cameras, Canon, and Lumix draw my eye. Yeah, so so spoiler alert. Okay, we're at the end of the stream, so you guys are in on a little secret. I've just sold most of my Sony gear, and I'm moving to Lumix. Right? Don't tell Lumix gang, because they're gonna rub it in my face, and they're gonna sing praises, and I don't want it, right? But the only camera that I kept is my FX30, because the FX30 is an unbelievable camera. It is spectacular. I absolutely love the Sony FX30, and it's one of those and for me, that camera is like professional work and quick and easy. It just works. It just works so well, right? And there is something to, like, when you get a text being like, hey, can we go film something tomorrow? Here's my idea. You can just grab the FX30 and go, because it's great. So that's not important, but anyway. Cafe Racer build here. Oh, I almost did a Cafe Racer. I had a CB 450. I bought the first bike I ever bought, and I bought it off a guy in Kentucky here, and I went to turn it into a Cafe Racer. And I knew nothing about bikes. I was still getting my permit at the time, and it was a lemon, and he didn't tell me anything. He said, yeah, it's working perfectly, and it was running, but it once you got it past 20 miles an hour, it didn't work. So I saw him ride it around, and I was like, oh yeah, it works. And it had like major blow by and loads of problems. So you live and you learn. Hey bro, let's do a trade. What are you trading? Have you posted it? What was that from? Oh, the Cafe Racer? That'd be cool. I love Cafe Racers, but I think I'm leaning more into bobbers. I think I prefer the bobber. Character, I like the texture I got out of it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like this too. This is my preferred look. I much prefer the texture and the character to this than I do the sort of clean one, which is this, personally. But again, different looks for different times, but because I very rarely work with clients, I'm going to use the fun one more. FX30 is so good. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It just works. Everything works. That's not to say that like other cameras, everything doesn't work. But if you've used an FX30 or an FX3, they just work in a, like, there's no other way that I can word that. I know that's really weird. It just works every time. So if you have any gear left for the A6700 you're still trying to get rid of, let me know. I might have a cage or two. Shoot me a message on Instagram. If I have a cage or two, I'll send something your way. You've been here for forever, so I'd be more than happy to. I bought the white version of the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II because it caught my eyes at first, but now I feel like I need the black one instead. Isn't it funny how like the color of the camera can sometimes feel like a make or break decision? Like, let's be real, that doesn't matter, right? But it does matter in a weird way. Like, I waited on buying the XM5 until they brought out the black version because I preferred the black version to the silver, like the gray version. Most of the other Fuji cameras, I actually prefer the silver version, but I didn't like the XM5's one. So, but yeah, it's just funny how we do that. Like, anything that makes you pick up your camera more, I think is worth investing in and worth getting. So, but yeah, very good. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I'm going to head out here in just a minute. If you have any last minute questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. We've got a Stranger Things night coming up. We got to get caught up. Don't say a single thing in the comments because I have avoided Facebook and Instagram at all costs because we haven't watched the new episodes that came out of Christmas. So I got people coming around here in just a minute. But if you have any last minute questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Again, January we got a whole lot more videos coming in. Hopefully 2 long form and 1 short per week is kind of my idea. And then 1 live stream a week as well, because we're going full time with this and I'm diving in. I want to try and do as much content for you guys as I can. So do subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you're a regular viewer but you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. I would appreciate it because vanity. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. But yeah, I hope it's helpful for you guys in the new year, and I'm really excited. I'm really grateful for all of you because being able to do this full time is kind of ridiculous. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not doing a white camera, it would just freak me out. Just in case it got dirty or something. It's fair enough. Have a great one. I appreciate it. I wish I got on here earlier. I just got home from work. Yeah, finding the right time to live stream is really difficult. Some people only like live streams after 5 p.m. Eastern, which is kind of where I am. Other people, it's like you should start at like noon and do it like midday / morning for people over on like sort of more West Coast stuff. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. That's going to be something for next year that I'll try and figure out. It's like a good time to do a live stream because I want to do more of them. They are fun. So have an amazing day. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will. Happy New Year's. Oh, that's true. It's New Year's in like 2 days. That's wild. I think you should do tutorials on color grading. Here's the problem, is I'm not good at it. I make it up as I go along. So I don't think, here's what I would do. If you're interested in color grading, and if you're interested in color grading the way that I color grade, go to Color Grading Central on YouTube. Let me pull up their channel. Because that is everything that I do, and anytime I need advice on how to do something on YouTube, I look up Color Grading Central because they're just fantastic. They have advice on every NLE, every editing software, doesn't matter what one you're using. They have like videos for you. Let me put it in chat here. Yeah, so I would definitely check them out. So this one here, it doesn't show the whole thing. Let me just double check that actually works. Yes, it does. I would watch their videos. They are really good videos. And they are professionals, and I'm not. So I make things up. I like splash different LUTs together. I'll like buy a couple of LUTs or get some free ones and blend them and just like play around until I get something that I like. The colors that I do, none of them are ever accurate and none of them are ever true to life. I just color grade the way that I think looks good. So I wouldn't recommend following my advice on color grading. Happy New Year to you as well. Sky says also I will post 2 videos this week. I got stuck with work over the weekend. I'll respond with the link. Yes, please do. I'm excited for you. That'll be cool. You're welcome. YouTube is just amazing. Totally learned video. Yeah, so did I. The best way to learn anything to do with cameras is YouTube's university, which just means watching lots of YouTube videos. But actually, more importantly than that, is actually doing it, right? Make some videos and just edit. Or like with color grading, film something in log, throw it into your editor, and just mess around with all the settings, right? Mess around with all the sliders, just like do whatever you can. And then, because you'll get stuff wrong, right? You're going to put in way too much contrast for one video. You're going to put in like no color in another one. People are going to make fun of you for it, but you learn about it. So you then learn pretty quickly. It's like, that wasn't right. Like sometimes I go back and I watch some of my old videos and I'm like, ooh, those skin tones are awful. They look so bad. But practice makes perfect. Again, it's like I went from doing church videos and weddings, and I would do maybe 10 videos a year, just because I was only doing ones when I got paid. I still had like a day job, to making a video every week, at least one video a week. And you learn so much by just keep doing them. So just make videos and practice, and you'll learn how to do it yourself. That'd be my advice. Happy New Year. You made me purchase the ZV-10 Mark II. I didn't make you buy anything. Right? I hope the rest of this comment is positive, but I haven't read it yet. You made me purchase the ZV-10 Mark II, and I'm definitely getting the accessories from your video. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that I hope you enjoy it. It is a great camera. Like I said about the FX30, the image out of it is fantastic, and it's the same image out of the FX30. So you can get a great image out of the ZV-10 Mark II. So I hope that you enjoy it. Would you ever expose what your setup looks like with color grading? So here's the thing about color grading is I color grade on Premiere Pro at the moment. I'm about to switch to DaVinci Resolve, so if it all starts looking terrible over the next couple of months, that's because I haven't figured out how to use DaVinci Resolve yet, which is very likely to happen. Premiere acts like Lightroom. So if you can color grade on Lightroom, you can color grade on Premiere. And that's majority of what I learned was photography and Lightroom. So yeah. I always loved the colors of your videos. Oh, good. Well, I appreciate that. They stood out. Yeah, I mean, basically what I did was Color Grading Central had a video about how to make a teal and orange color grade. And I followed their tutorial in Premiere Pro, and then I tweaked some stuff, and I saved that as a LUT, and I used that on almost all of my videos. You can see, especially recently, the colors have changed a little bit. My skin tones used to be way too orange, and that is mainly because I am pasty pale and I had to do something to make myself have a bit of life to it. So just practice. Just keep practicing. I've gotten a bit more comfortable with not pushing it too far. But in saying that, I have a video that I have planned for next year. So next year, a video I want to make is I want to review like a whole bunch of YouTubers' LUTs and choose which one's the best. So I'm actually using one right now. This is a YouTuber's LUT. It costs about $30. I bought it myself. And my plan is to do a video comparing all the different YouTubers' LUTs, and then you guys can decide which ones you like. And I want to buy all of them myself, so I'm just sort of buying one at a time because they can get kind of expensive, and then do a big comparison. And then hopefully a bunch of my friends who are on that list of people who are making LUTs, you guys can go buy their LUTs and make them lots of money. I just learned last week how to use layer nodes in DaVinci Resolve to achieve the perfect skin tone from YouTube, and I was amazed how simple that was. So DaVinci nodes scare the life out of me. it's a big learning curve. There's a lot to learn, but for me, it's just I've never had the time like for the last 3 years, I've had a full-time job at a church, and it's 50 to 60 hours a week. My wife and I run a coffee shop. So we owned a brick and mortar coffee shop that we ran, and I did YouTube. And I was working on immigration in America all at the same time. So looking to learn a new skill at that point was like not possible. But I just stepped away from my job. Wednesday is my last day. And that was a really good thing. I'm really excited about that. Like in a good way. And the church is in a really good place. And we got some really good people taking my place. We sold the coffee shop. So that was great. We were also fixing up and renovating property. So we've got a buyer for our house. And now I just have YouTube. That's it. One thing. It's going to be wonderful. I'm so excited. DaVinci and the nodes take a while to figure out. Exactly. Yeah, that was the thing. Is I never had the time to learn, but now I have time. So, and I have the studio version. Like I have the expensive version. So I don't need to keep paying for Premiere Pro. That is my plan. So 2026, lots of changes, big changes coming. I got a vacation next week for a week, and I'm really excited to just rest for a little bit and then dive straight back in. And we'll be making lots of videos and doing lots of live streams. So hope to have you around. And I'm gonna head out here in just a second. I did see why am I getting max res of 720p. I have no idea. I hope that is not the case. If everybody else is stuck at 720, I need to change something in my next live stream. So thank you, Project, for letting me know. So my mistake. If this is only at 720p, I am very sorry, everybody. It's not, sorry, to go back to that, it's not related to Anamorphic. It is just me being a noob. Man, congrats on stepping away and pursuing this. I help lead a church, own a coffee shop, own a coffee company, and I'm working towards content on YouTube, following along. Dude, it's a lot. That's a lot to handle. But I'm glad I did all of it. Oh, I skipped one. Using Adobe is like visiting a bio. That's exactly what it is. That's so funny. Wishing you good luck in all you do. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, stuck at 720. Well, you know what? Nobody complained. Well, one person complained right at the very end. So, what does that say? I don't know. Maybe 4K doesn't matter. Live streams are usually capped at 1080p. I'd love to be able to stream in 4K, but I did not mean to do 720. 720 probably explains why this is doing all of this nasty stuff. I don't know if that's come through on your screens as well. I'm getting weird, like, noisy things happening all over the place. That makes sense. Yep, it's my OBS. I think I got a switch. Yep, I'm going to be trying Ecamm here soon, so we'll be doing that. Anyway, right, I'm going to head out, and I will chat to you all soon. Let me pull up some music while I go, and I will see all of you in the next video. Where's my button? See ya.